It's okay for me.
It's okay. Are you okay? Can we start?
I'm fine. Sorry to delay you. What's your name again?
Eleonore.
Eleonore. Eleonore. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Eleonore.
And this is Jess.
Thank you, Jess.
So first of all, we both really liked your movie, so thank you for your movie.
Yes.
How did you come up with the idea of your movie, and what's your relationship with New Zealand and Maori culture?
I think probably the main inspiration, or the person that gave me the confidence to think about trying to tell a story like this, was my mother. Is my mother. She's still alive. My mother is Maori. She grew up in Aotearoa, New Zealand, with Maori mother and father. And my father was English. He's now passed. And my father came from England to New Zealand, met my mother, they had me, and then we moved away. Okay. So I didn't really grow up in New Zealand, in Aotearoa, New Zealand. But my mother would tell me stories, of our tupuna, our ancestors. And those were the things that I think eventually inspired me to consider trying to tell this story. Because my relationship to your question, my relationship to Aotearoa, New Zealand, and my taha Maori, my Maori side, was minimal. I've lived most of my life in England, in London. I've been back to New Zealand to visit relatives, but really my connection certainly with the Maori culture is minimal. Until I started to research and think about a story I might try and tell. And Mārama was preceded, I should say, by a short film that I was commissioned to make by TVNZ called Taumanu.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had a chance to see it.
It's great. I've seen it at festival. Yeah.
Oh, at a festival? Okay, great. So it was a short film, but for me it was the biggest short film I've ever made at the time. I made it in New Zealand. It connected me with my Maori Wahine Maori, female Maori producer, Charlene George. And we had a good experience making it, right? And then Charlene optioned the first draft of the feature idea, which kind of flows from Taumanu a bit. They share themes, I would say, and even character names. But Charlene was the one. Charlene is Cook Island Maori, and she was the one that took the risk on a first-time feature writer-director. And with Charlene's help, I was able to develop that script over, I'd say 3 years, maybe even 4 years. No, 3 years, I'm going to say. Develop. She was the one that put me in connection with all the, actually, Wahine Maori. They were all Maori women, which felt right for the story. People who were linguists, people who were cultural specialists, people who were able to advise me on the tikanga is the name, the Maori word for it, maybe the protocol. And the specificity of protocol. And I even met with a matakite, a seer, which was
one of my questions.
Yeah, no, well, that was an amazing experience. Oh, sorry, I met. We had a Zoom. I was still in England at the time, and she lives in Aotearoa. But Rhonda Tibble was her name, and she just reassured me. She was like, "It's all right. Your story's okay. Maybe this bit, maybe no. This bit, lose it." And I take those advices because these are people that are experts and they know more than I do. So with the help of all those advisors and consultants and editors, the script came to be what it is. And I think from my first draft, which I completed, I know when I completed the first draft, October 2020, because I was on a program called the Imagine Native Indigenous Screenwriters Intensive, which was a great program, 9 months, and it allowed me to work my first draft. So completed that 2020 October, and we wrapped the shoot October 2024. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Was it 24 or 5? Or was it 25? Sorry, I'm being stupid now.
It's okay.
But anyway, I think we did it in, I think it was 4 years from first draft to wrap. And the point being that I've been told that the average time it takes a first-time feature director, not second or third, but the first time, like this is my debut, is 7 years, which sounds about right. Because you've got to spend all that time convincing people that they should invest in someone that they've never heard of before, me. But we managed to do that in 4 years, so I was happy with that, very proud of that.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah.
And I think it showed that you've received a lot of advice from people who know the culture. You can tell in the movies. It was really.
It was important to me. It needed to be, the two words again, the two Maori words are tika and pono. It needed to be truthful and authentic, right? And because otherwise, who am I to try and tell this story? And it's not meant to be entertaining. Well, it is meant to be entertaining, yes, yes, but it needed to be authentic and accurate. If I was going to dare talk about many of these tapu subjects and try and weave them into a story, then I better make sure they feel authentic to people that know. So
yeah, and the movie is about cultural appropriation.
Exactly.
So I think
I mean, yes, I'm Maori, but I didn't want to appropriate the stories of my tupuna, my ancestors, for pure entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be bedded into the story in an authentic manner. That's all I can say. I think. Yeah.
At first, you didn't set out to make a horror movie.
Not really, no.
Not really? So how did you finally get into this kind of gothic story?
Well, I think during the financing, we needed to call it something.
Okay.
And I realized pretty quickly that calling it a drama set in 1859 wasn't enough, actually.
Okay.
It was just being blunt, I think that was... No, sorry. There's two parts to that. On a strategic level, I needed something more interesting than a historic drama, because that was like, okay, we've all got historic dramas. There's lots of them around. So I needed something a bit more unique. But actually, on a more fundamental level, as I was researching more and more into something I didn't know anything about, but it doesn't take long to research online the history of the colonization of Aotearoa. And what I started to find out just convinced me, actually. No, this is a horror film. And initially, when I proposed that, there was a bit of pushback. Various interested parties were saying, I don't know if this is a horror film, don't call it horror, you're going to disappoint the horror fans, or it will end up in a mini festival somewhere, a midnight screening, no one's going to see it, horror, not good. I disagreed then, and I really disagree now, because I have now come to learn over the last 7 months that the film has been screening in festivals, 25 so far, 10 more to come. It's done well. And a lot of those festivals have been genre festivals, and some of them horror festivals. And fine, I don't care. It's an audience, right? And some of those audiences are the most passionate audiences I've come to understand, and ask some of the most interesting questions. So whatever, it's cool. If you want to call it, I don't really care. If you want to think it's a horror or not, I wrote it, I directed it. I'm calling it a Maori Gothic horror, so for me it is that. The rest is academic debate. Actually, I don't care. But it has helped it a lot, I personally think, to just try and not classify it, to call it what I think it is, a Maori Gothic horror. Yeah.
And
First of its kind, yeah. Sorry.
The true story of colonialism, it's pure horror. So it's maybe
that's what I came to understand as I was writing it. But belatedly, like I didn't go into it knowing, okay, this is going to be a horror about the colonization of... No, not at all. I was thinking, honestly, at the beginning, I thought this was going to be an emotional, heavy drama set in Victorian times. But then it just became more and more, no, this is a horror story, actually.
Talking about Victorian times, making period piece can be tricky and expensive. How did you work with your costume designer and production designer?
Well, first of all, we did have an okay budget. Like, it wasn't huge, but we had more than most first-time feature directors get. I'm aware of that, because I've tried to get features off the ground many times before, and that for much less money. So I'm very grateful to the people that funded this film that they didn't make us try and do the film on, $500,000. No, we had more than that, but we also didn't have $25 million. It wasn't generous. It was just doable. It was realistic, perhaps. And I would give credit to the producer again, Charlene George, and Ricky Lee, and Rosie, for positioning me with really, really expert heads of department. These are people, all of them, from the cinematographer, production designer, costume designer, to makeup, hair, and prosthetics designer, who had made many features, all of them. So, and here's me, first-time feature maker. Well, I'm just going to take their advice, frankly. But honestly, mostly they were interested in the project and happy to try and get as much as they could out of the limited budget. But in answer to your question, how did I work with them? I mean, I'd written the script, so I had my ideas, but then it was about negotiating with them what's possible, what's achievable, what might be more impactful visually, what might pop more than something that I'd written. And mostly I was absolutely happy to take their advice and be guided by the experts, really. But did you ask about the costume? Sorry.
Yeah, costume and production designer.
Specifically costume. Wonderful woman called Sarah Voon, who is writing her own feature, I think, a vampire-based feature, gothic vampire feature. So
interesting.
and, so we immediately clicked a bit, and she was like, "Well, I was interested in your script, so tell me more." But the extent of me working with her, honestly, it was like, I think I described the dress in my script. I knew it was going to be red. Sorry, the ball gown.
Dress to die for.
Oh, well, thank you. I tell Sarah how much love that dress is getting around the world in festivals, and she's just very modest about it. But it is. It's a key character, that dress. And I knew it would be red because in the creation stories of the Maori culture, I'm reducing this very, very basically now, but in terms of key color, black is for Ranginui, the Sky Father, white for Te Ao Mārama, the world, the real world, and red for Papatūānuku, the Earth Goddess.
Okay.
And I knew it had to be red. Red was a key feminine, strong color, but it's also a great color. And I think I'd written, a striking red ball gown, but that's it. That's all I'd done. And then Sarah just came back with ideas and offered in proposals and suggestions. And the more I saw them, it was like going, great. And then when she finally showed me the dress, my God, I was nearly crying. It was such a beautiful day. Did she have the dress or maybe even the dress on Ariana? Fuck, it was incredible. And she told me it was 27 meters of Chinese silk. So it sounded like a lot to me, but she said, no, that's how much silk you need for a dress like this. 27 meters. And the production design itself was by an amazing designer called Nick Williams.
Okay.
Very experienced again. He was the one that was able to reassure me, because we couldn't find locations. We shot in New Zealand. We couldn't find locations because there are no big Gothic mansions in New Zealand. They don't exist. It's too young a country, But anyway, he said, it's fine. We'll do this in the studio. And I was like, really? We don't have enough budget, do we? Is it going to look realistic? And he went, just relax, it's going to be fine. And I was worried until even when I was looking at it being built, the sets in the studio, I just kept thinking this is going to look like a school play, like some kind of, it's not going to be right. But of course, but I hope people feel it's a credible interior because I love it now. And he was right. He was like, look, don't worry. It's going to be very simple sets because we don't have much money, but it's going to be about color, texture, lighting, and your framing. And the rest is like, it'll be fine. And
it was great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was about keeping it simple, and that was about the preparation I'd done with the cinematographer Jin Lone. One of the films they recommended for me to watch was The Wonder with Florence Pugh.
Yeah,
you've seen that film. Totally different story, but thinking in terms of mise en scène, we were like, how might we keep this film as simple as possible? Like we never went into the film. I knew it was never going to be a choppy film. I'm not doing much coverage because I don't like those kinds of films usually anyway. We don't need to do that. And also we don't have the budget to do that all the time. We had 24-day shoot and the editor was in total agreement. He's like, no, I don't need coverage. I just need you to get the shot that is necessary. And actors like that as well sometimes when you're saying to them at the beginning of the day, we were thinking a master and maybe some extra, what do you want to do? Sometimes actors come to set, they tell me, and there's the shot list, there's the list of things, and it's like you sit here, you turn that way, that's it. I'm going to come here. Now you look up there, and then you stand up, and it's like being, I don't know. It felt very. Actors would tell me it feels very broken, that process. Whereas this, we were trying to make it a lot more, trying to involve them in the shooting. Sorry, anyway, I'm rambling.
We've heard that you said at every shooting day you began and ended with a karaka.
Karakia, yes. That's all right. No, karakia is the Maori word for, it can be prayer or it could be a blessing or just a way to cleanse the space usually, or to open it before something or to close it after something. And yes, we did. We got into a rhythm of saying a short karakia before each different setup. And it was a nice thing to do because by the end, the actors were saying it. I started with me saying it and we'd just hold hands, me, the actors in the scene, and Jin and the cinematographer. So it became a rhythm and a nice ritual, I suppose. And the karakia was very quick and simple and a nice way just to settle.
And the dynamics of the groups, I think. So it's more
I think I hope it did, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
well, especially by the time we had two actors from the UK. They are actually both English. Toby Stevens and Umi Myers that came over to shoot in Aotearoa. The rest of the cast were all from New Zealand. So it's not unusual.
Yeah.
Especially on films with any Maori content now, TV film in Aotearoa, to involve karakia. And rightly so, I think. So the actors were not at all, it's like easy for them.
Okay.
And the crew. But I think for Toby and Umi, it was fresh and new. And by the end, they were saying it themselves. So it was nice. They led the karakia on a few occasions. So it's a nice way to involve them in the cultural practice and to honour the culture of the Maori people. Yeah.
Talking about the actresses and the actors,
Yes.
How did you cast them? How did you find them?
I had a fabulous casting director called Christina Asher, who is Maori.
Oh.
And I'd worked with her before on Taumanu. So we had a good working relationship. And, well, in terms of the lead role, we always knew this is a significant part. It's the spine of the film, right? It's going to carry the film, make or break it. And I was still in the UK, so Christina would send me, not tapes, but you know what I mean, files, audition files, and I saw a lot. And there are a lot of fabulous wahine Maori women actors. And we were looking specifically, I think we said between 20 and 25.
Okay.
Yeah. A few of them were a bit older, but mostly we wanted it to be a credibly 24-year-old character. I can't remember how many I saw, at least 20. And anyway, in the first round. Mm-hmm. And I knew from seeing Ariana's in the first round, who went on to play Mārama, that there was something a bit different about her because, I think it was, thinking back on it, I think it was because she had, of the many really good audition tapes that I saw, hers was quite distinct in that she had what seemed to me to be the courage, or the self-confidence maybe is the word, to do very, very little. Mm-hmm. Like just this positioning, not nothing, because nothing is boring, but very little, and still be a character. And I was like, whoa, that's striking. Everyone did the same audition, like a couple of pages, a few lines, and a few actions. But hers popped with me that first audition, and then I got to know her more. We did many callbacks, and then 3 face-to-face when I'd gotten over to New Zealand. And as I got to know her more, I came to realise her background a bit. She used to be a very high-level athlete. Okay. She played rugby for New Zealand. Seriously, her father was an All Black, which is the cream of the cream. A very successful All Black, Glenn Osborne. But sorry, I'm not saying about him. But for her, I'm just saying she has an athletic background. Then she moved. I think, at 15, she said, "I'm not playing rugby anymore." And she became a contemporary dancer, and she still dances at a high level with a contemporary troupe called Red Leap in New Zealand. Great troupe. Not troupe, sorry. Dance troupe, maybe it is. And then after dancing, she decided to pivot to acting and went to Toi Whakaari, which is kind of one of the most prestigious perhaps acting schools in Wellington, in New Zealand, graduated and started working. It's like it's kind of easy, but of course it's not easy, but she's just very focused and very good. And I'm saying all this because I think my theory is, anyway, what I was responding to was her physical precision and confidence, as well as a great acting brain. Clearly, she's a good performer, but she also has, and I think this comes through in the film, she's very precise. And I knew in my head that it was going to be this kind of restricted performance for the first half, perhaps, of someone who's on guard, keeping herself contained. But we needed that moment, which happens in the film, where she explodes, and she explodes.
So for our last question,
yes.
Where do you want to go next after going to Toronto, Fantastic Fest, CGS? And do you have a next project, and can you tell us about it?
Do you mean festival? Where do I want to go next?
No,
for the movie, yes, festival, but for your career?
Well, the movie, festival-wise, I think we've got another 3 lined up. I don't know if they're confirmed, so I won't say, but that's all great. And for next films, that's tricky, but I've decided, I'm now saying I have a 12-year plan. I'm going to make 4 films, 1 every 3 years. And no one's laughing yet, but no, some people have just said, oh, okay, 12, that's a specific number. It's better than 15 because that's too long, and 10, I don't believe it. It sounds like a management book, but 12 is a good number. So I'm sticking with that. But all I mean is I don't want to spend another 5.5 years making my second film. You know, I need to get the next one out. And I've got a script, it's ready to go. I've got a producer. Hopefully we're going to shoot that next January, February. But if it's all right, I won't talk about that too much just yet. I don't want to jinx it. Touch wood. But I do also, longer distance, probably more like 5 or 6 years from now, hope to do a part 2 and a part 3 of the Mārama story, continuing on with those characters that we see at the end of the film. And again, slight spoiler alert, but the second part is called Anahera. And it's about what happens when we find Anahera 7 years on from where we leave her in, I'm going to call it, an inappropriate relationship with, in fact, a French diplomat in the, what would it have been then, the yet to be but beginning to be colonized island of Tahiti. So it's more of a Moana Gothic, perhaps.
Okay.
And, you know, guess who's going to need to come to her rescue? Mārama and Peggy. So I'm hoping to bring those three back into the story. If I can make the story work, I really want to shoot in Tahiti. I think it's an incredible location, but I'd like to continue their story together. Unfortunately, I need to wait at least 6 years because the lead, as she will be, Evelyn Towersley, who plays Anahera, or Anne, in Mārama, who I think did a really good job, and I loved working with her. But she needs to grow up a bit. She's only 9, so I need her to be about 16, 17. So that's not going to be the first film I make. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I don't know if that's useful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
That was great fun.
Thank you for this movie. It's an amazing movie.
Oh, thank you so much for glad you enjoyed it.